brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission and Veteran Threat and AIB Bookkeeping and Gap Ministries and North Star Hyperbaric and I Believe in Myself and Tucson International Academy and MPG Automotive and Making College Come True and Ironwood Dental.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's brought by a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that we are officially here. Like we're official like a ref and his whistle. You ready for this?
I'm ready, man.
Yeah, you're wearing your coach shirt today, so let's coach them up.
Let's rock and roll, man.
And teach them all about the common good happening in our community, highlighting all the good in our community, because all too often do we hear, there's nothing good on the radio anymore. I don't hear any good news at all. Well, people, I got good news for you. We're here.
Yep.
And today we have another few amazing guests. We have Drew Heniser with Helix Home Comfort that we'll be speaking with for the first half of the show. And then the second half of the show, we'll be speaking with Brian Bray and his entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he brings like everywhere. This is like his crew.
Yeah, I see them.
Yeah, they're like, I'm jealous a little bit because this guy rolls deep.
Yeah.
And they'll be talking about financials and investments and all that kind of cool stuff. So I'm excited for today's show. But this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I didn't give grace to a very loving father that has blessed myself and my compadre Andreas Ruiz and Tom, the handy, friendly engineer, so very much. So we're going to, I like to start it off with the Lord's Prayer. And it goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yes.
And man, I'm just really excited to have our guest today, Drew Heniser from Helix Home Comfort. And he and I, we met at a real estate school, and we connected. We talked a little bit, and then we just connected on Facebook. Never really hung out or anything like that, but we hung out on Facebook every now and then. And the dude's a powerhouse. I've been following him. He's been doing a lot of amazing things, and he's a real go-getter, man. So I'm really excited to have you, Drew. How you feeling today, brother?
Oh, pretty good. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. This show is awesome. So proud and happy to be here.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. And definitely, if you're in line with all the guests that Andreas usually brings on, you are a powerhouse, just like he said you are. So again, I thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So
thank you.
So yeah, let's get into it, man. Drew, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about Helix Home Comfort. Tell us, what is Helix Home Comfort?
Yeah. So I founded Helix Home Comfort a few years ago, and Helix Home Comfort's in essence a renewable energy program, renewable energy company. We do solar power, air conditioning, high efficiency equipment. So our job is to transition homeowners from paying the high utility bills, over to renewable energy, putting solar panels on their roof, and really cleaning up our ecosystem, our environment, things like that. That's kind of the big motivation behind us is saving our customers money. So
Nice.
Our company really works on a lot of renewable energy programs that are by the federal government, things like that.
Nice. That's awesome. And so it's interesting. I mean, it's nowadays it seems like it's becoming more popular, this type of technologies, this type of thing. 10 years ago when I was talking about it, nobody seemed interested at all. But I'm guessing you, like me, you probably were kind of like ahead of the game on this type of stuff. But what got you interested in this type of work and this type of technologies?
Yeah, solar. So I've always kind of been an innovator in a few things. I did air conditioning, just strictly HVAC for a long time.
Okay.
And a friend of mine kind of brought me into the solar world when he kind of showed me what it was doing for homeowners, raising values in their actual home value into their homes, and then also saving people a ton of money. which is a couple of cool things. So once I seen that, just the raw power that we can harness from the sun instead of nuclear plants and coal plants and all this, all that bad environmental stuff. So on both sides of the plane, everyone loves to save money, which I love because I'm kind of a penny pincher myself. And then also loved, the fact that we can have a really clean ecosystem instead of big coal and big nuclear plants. So that got me really sparked on the whole deal.
Yeah. And I'm guessing definitely I'm intrigued by this. I wish I would have. Definitely we have to set up a time for I, and Andreas to talk outside of this, because the idea that one, you're an HVAC guy that's also doing solar, that's an interesting kind of synergy there, because as well as I do, HVAC system is one of the biggest users of energy in the household and in the commercial buildings. So to be able to cut into that substantially with solar is mind blowing. So yeah, I guess speak to that a little bit more, and kind of how you're drawn to that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. So the connection of it is awesome because growing up, my father and my grandparents always were like, hey, man, turn the lights off anywhere you go. Hey, don't turn the thermostat up. Don't do this, right? Unplug your appliances and all this. So I always was just fascinated by why. And the older I got, when I first got a house, when I first, kind of moved up and started getting things and growing older, I realized it costs money, right? And our dreams and our fun doesn't run on, on hope. It runs on dollar bills. So, the synergy of that whole system is awesome. Like the HVAC world, I was always intrigued by high efficiency HVAC equipment, heating and cooling equipment. And then once I found out about solar, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we could put solar panels on a roof of a home or in the backyard or something along those lines, and they could literally run every appliance, light, everything, plug in their Teslas, their new F-150 electrics, everything, all for free because their panels are just supplying it from the sun, which is like awesome. So it got rid of that when my dad used to tell me turn all the lights off every time you go out the room kind of thing, and you don't have to worry about that as much because the sun is going to provide that for you, which is unbelievably awesome.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to talk about all that and more with Drew Heniser with Helix Home Comfort. But before we go to break, this is Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain, and my buddy, Andreas Ruiz, has something to tell you about I Believe in Myself and the motivational work that they do.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in taking their life to the next level, getting that strategy set up for that big vision that you've been desiring for a week, a month, a year, maybe even a decade, send me a message at ibelievecal@gmail.com, and we will help you create that strategy for that big vision, and we will also help you eliminate any fear that is stopping you from moving forward, whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of success and not being able to handle it, or the fear of caring about what people think or say about you. And we will also be working on the energy so you can have 100% energy, just like Drew provides for his solar people. And so send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com, and we will get you rocking and rolling.
That was a good one. Yeah.
This is the Common Good Radio Show. Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. We will be right back. We are really excited to have some powerhouses today. Yeah. Usually we have women on the show, but today we have men.
Men. It's a men's group. Yeah. It's a men's group. Common Good Radio Show.
Yeah, man. And we have, like I said, some powerhouses. We have Drew Heniser in the house, and thanks again, man, for being on the show, dude.
Dude, I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So we were talking a little bit about, the work that you do and all the amazing, services that you have. And one thing that really I would like to know is, like, how has COVID impacted your business during these interesting times?
Oh, man. Yeah, the funny thing is COVID has been such at one point, another scary and crazy moment, and another point in our world has been really blessed to actually be able to do really well in our business. And the reason for that is because a lot of people got to work from home that were able to do so, and a lot couldn't. But the people who were home more, and they used their air conditioning more, and were in their homes using more lights and more appliances. And in our world, in the renewable energy, when we can really show customers how to save money, when people weren't working, they were losing jobs, things like that. Our job was to save our people that are just like me, just like you, just like everybody out there who's, trying to get along and push and do better and try to get through this thing. We save people thousands and thousands of dollars just on utility bills alone, operating on their house through this. So we've actually stayed pretty steady and done pretty well. We've actually had a pretty good hire coming on, a pretty big mass hire. So we're mass hiring all the way around the whole Southern Belt from California to Florida right now,
Nice.
Trying to help as many people as we can out.
That's beautiful. That's awesome. That I think that's probably why you and Andreas grew so well, and why I feel like you're an awesome dude, is just because Andreas and I were kind of the same way. Once in dealing with COVID, it hit us just like it did everybody else. So we're just like, okay, how do we respond to this? And how do we help people and make things better for everybody? So that's cool to see that was.
And something about that you just said right there is it's interesting how when you connect with people like Drew, that they're so optimistic, that they look at the blessing in what happened with COVID. We looked at COVID as a blessing. A lot of amazing opportunities came our way, and that's why I connect with people like Drew, because they're so optimistic just like us. And like-minded people always think alike, and we are definitely those people right here. So that's why I love what Drew does, and the way that he thinks. And so Drew, in regards to this, like what changes have you had to make to overcome these challenges during COVID? Great question. We used to do a lot of in-home appointments. We used to knock a lot of doors and help out a lot of people and things like that in that manner. But what we switched over to is actually a lot of virtual appointments, just so if people were, scared of things and things like that, we can actually look at someone's roof structure at their home from any Google software, any of our solar software that we have, which is really nice. And we just need a copy of the utility bill, and we can just show them how much they'll save per year and be able to kind of adjust that route. So we switched a little bit virtually on a lot of our stuff during COVID kind of deal. And now that it's, I would say it's over kind of deal in my opinion, but it's getting to the end point, and we've kind of switched back up to wearing masks, and still we're back to knocking doors. We're in BJ's across the country, which are like a Costco deal. So we're back to the communication, getting back to rubbing shoulders and shaking hands, and really enjoying what we do best, is talking to people and helping them out. So just that virtual side of things really changed over for us for a little while.
Mm-hmm. And thinking of it, since I have I feel like my own personal HVAC man here with me, what are some of the things that people can do, like simple stuff they can do around their household to kind of save energy or save money, whether it's with their HVAC system or just in general stuff that people don't think of that you're akin to?
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a good question as well. In the HVAC world, I've been there for over 15 years. Our company's installed thousands and thousands of equipment all across the country, from Michigan to Colorado to Arizona to Florida, the whole big triangle and in between. It's been good. Some efficiency things you can do is, one, make sure you check those filters on the regular basis, once a month, I would say. Depends on what type you have. Number two would be set it and forget it on that thermostat. I would keep it at the same thing during the day, and at nighttime, if you like it a little cooler, drop it a degree or two, but keep your schedule the same so the system's not overworking more than it needs to. And then the third thing is, man, I'm kind of like, I love the fact of saving money and like pinching the pennies and doing that. But like once I got into the renewable energy, the solar world, oh man, it's like you get those panels up there, you cut your bill in half, and you can just, run anything you want all the time, which is awesome.
Nice.
It's really, really impressive. And then, for veterans and first responders and people out there saving money on that stuff, they got really good deals going on. With those type of people out there, we got a huge promotion we're running for veterans and first responders and police officers for the month of October. You had to save some serious money. So,
and how do people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, helixhomecomfort.com. So www.helix, Helix, homecomfort.com. And we got a little message box in there and a live web chat, and our phone numbers, everything is on there. So just get a hold of us there. But anyone for first responders, anybody for veterans, anything like that, we're giving out a free air conditioner when they switch over to solar.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, man. So we're doing it just for the month of October for our local Tucson people, Southern Arizona people. That's going to be a huge thing for us. Is we're trying to we can only do it for a month because it would break us if we went any longer. But we really want to do good. And we want to put it out there for our local people. And so we're giving a free air conditioner out with every customer, that switches over to solar, veterans, first responders, police officers in that field.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that.
Yeah, same here, man. And I'm pretty sure that John, being a veteran I'm pretty sure he appreciates that. So
yeah, for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and so
absolutely.
And just real quick, we have about a minute left. Who would you say is it kind of sounds like your ideal client is anybody, but is there like a particular person that you're looking for these services that you can serve?
Yep, perfect. The people who are going to benefit from this the most would be single-family homeowners, so as in just a single-family residence.
Okay.
Have to own the home. That's the only thing. So have to own the home and just have to have a decent credit score. And that's really it, man. We can kind of get people in because what they're doing is they're switching from their utility company, getting rid of those people, and purchasing solar energy, just a solar payment for a fraction of the price. So the ideal client would be someone who's just a homeowner who's looking to save money, and that's it. You can get this whole thing for $0 down, $0 out of pocket, and get just switched over, like the easiest process you've ever done. So
nice.
That's amazing.
That is amazing, man.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much that we could still cover. Definitely, we have to have you on again, Drew.
Yeah, I'll come back, man. I appreciate you guys. I'll come back again. I know we've been talking. I love this show, so you guys do a lot of good out there. So we just wanted to give back. I know, Andres, we've known each other for a while, so I just wanted to, he blessed me with the opportunity to talk to you guys. So I just wanted to give back to my locals, and, anybody that does for the month of October, they'll get that free air conditioner when they switch over, and it's nothing out of pocket. And I know a lot of people could use it during the COVID times.
Jamar Durdan here in studio with us, and Brian Bray, he's running behind, but he will be joining us shortly. But I'm glad we have Jamar Durdan Solamente in studio with us because, for one, we get the honor of thanking him for his service. We got another Air Force vet here in studio with us, which, I don't know how we do it. Sometimes it's consciously, and sometimes it's just this mystic magic happens. But we have a lot of veterans on this show.
We do, man.
God bless it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes this show so good. We've been around for over a year now. Soon we'll be saying over a year and a half now.
I think it's been over a year and a half now, right?
Yeah. No, almost a year and a half. Almost a year and a half. We don't give ourselves too much credit. But yeah. But it's because we have amazing people, one, that are veterans, and two, like Jamar, that are just masters of their industry.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And the first thing I want to talk about, just because it's what he does separate from Brian, and we'll talk about kind of the investment side of things. When Brian gets here, you're an accountant. Yeah, and I something that you said before the break, and actually first let me thank you for being here, Jamar. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, the interesting you said during the break about your journey and becoming an accountant. I guess retell us about that, because I definitely found that very, very interesting.
Well, my journey started in the military. The first one, I had the opportunity to read the book Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, okay.
But before that, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read that actually while I was deployed to the desert. And that's kind of where the transformation started.
I wish I would have been on top of my game like that back then. But when I was deployed, I was 18 years old. So how old were you in that same time?
Well, at that time, I was about 28, 29.
Okay, yeah. You were at that age where we start figuring stuff out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, so you read the book, and I mean, did you get into accounting immediately, or what happened after that? You read the book.
Well, I knew after I read the book, I had to start making some changes. The first thing I concentrated on was fixing my credit, because if you don't have money, you better have some good credit. And after that, I just started the journey, just getting better and better. I became the resource advisor in the military, where we started handling the money. So I just started that projection up after that, and really delving into the finances part of it.
Yeah, and then you talked about how, you are, you got to make money, but then you also said, I want to make sure I keep the money. So tell us a little bit about that, for anybody out there that doesn't know how to keep the money, like you said. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, that's the thing that really caught me, where he said you got into accounting to keep the money, which is not the usual path for an accountant. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I did it totally different. So most people focus on the operations first and getting that up to running. Well, it's not about how much you make, it's how much you keep. So I kind of did it a little backwards, but I found more success doing it that way, because then you're able to use strategy a lot better as far as, paying taxes, tax planning, and different things like that. So that was my main focus, was really, and then you can start building the generational wealth that way, because we all know everybody's going to die and everybody's going to pay taxes. So you might as well start getting the strategies and the planning, ahead of what you're trying to do.
Interesting. And for the type of work that you do in the realm of accounting, what does the ideal client look like for you?
My ideal accounting is, my niche would be a small business person, usually independent contractors, because as you know, financial literacy is not taught, but it doesn't keep you from having a business. So you have two facets of the business. You have the operations, and then you have the finances. Well, the finances is the language of the business. The problem is that you spend more time on the operations, and then you kind of let the finances slack when you first start out. So that's where I come in and say, okay, we need to try to balance this out again and kind of see where you are. Because in business you need capital. Well, where do you get the capital from? That comes from the financial side.
Interesting. Yeah, man. And so for people that are trying to keep that money, and business owners that want to keep that money, what are some tips that you would give them, like 2 to 3 tips that that you've noticed that there's a gap and people are struggling with, to make sure that they keep their money?
One thing I try to tell people is that, and I learned this, I can't take this, but I learned this from Marcus Lemonis, who I'm a big friend of the show, The Prophet. I'm not sure you're familiar with that. But
The Prophet.
But Marcus actually had one program where he showed how the cost of one cupcake was 35 cents, and that was including the labor. So if you understand your numbers, then that's the biggest part of the problem, is the numbers, because you need to know each month whether or not, you're starting out in the red, the black, or the green. Hopefully you're in at least the black, so at least you're kind of trying to break even. The green is awesome, but knowing your numbers is just that important. And then when you break it down, you have what is called a breaking point throughout the month, right? To where all your expenses are paid for, and then everything after that is profit. So that's kind of the journey I try to give my clients to, is, okay, where's your break-even point throughout the month? And then everything else is profit. Because a lot of times people come to me where their back is against the wall, and I become like the problem solver. So you can solve the problem, but if you don't implement any systems and processes going forward, then they just kind of revert back to their old ways.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So from your experience, it just sounds like people just don't know their numbers, and you're the one that comes in, takes care of the numbers, and make sure that everything is figured out. But for those people that don't know their numbers, what would you suggest they do in order to be, just have more knowledge? Is that something that you teach them as well, or what? Or do you just get in there and just do the work for them?
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I like to be your financial guide. I don't want to do it for you, but I want to be there with you to do it. So a lot of times people just need accountability. They can do it themselves, but they just need that coach or that mentor, somebody to come in there and say, okay, I'm your backup here. Let's do this. And then you really just have to trust in the process too, that it's all going to work out for the business. So that's what I encourage you. That's what I encourage people to do. And main thing, get QuickBooks. I mean, QuickBooks, it's not that hard to learn. It just takes a little discipline. And if you can't do it, find you a bookkeeper to somebody to help you out with that.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. Good
Well,
stuff.
awesome. Yeah, that is good stuff.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are some
man.
good questions you're asking. You got to the juice of it.
There we go.
So yeah, thank you for that, Jamar. So
Absolutely.
we'll be back with more of that after this break. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself. If you haven't been to 1118 North Jones to check out Veteran Thrift, I'm Pastor John McLean here with Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself Coaching.
Yes.
And it's taken off like a rocket.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I Believe in Myself Coaching selling stock, but if they were, I would want some.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, yeah,
I'm gonna talk to some investors. Well, we'll actually.
Oh, hey! Is that a segue? Is that what they call segue?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so we have Jamar Durdan in studio with us. As you heard the first segment, he is an accountant, but he is more than just an accountant and an Air Force vet. He is also a private money lender and an investor, and he works in the financial field.
Yes.
So I guess kind of like, if anything, Brian was supposed to be your compadre, and we're going to hear about his kind of fruitful and just illustrious background in this field. But I guess kind of just speak to maybe this group that you're working with, their background, and then we'll kind of make our way toward the investing that you guys are working in.
Okay. Well, the group is, we keep changing the name. Now the group is called the Professionals.
Yes.
Okay, I like
It's
that.
fitting.
And,
I believe it's fitting.
And
Yes.
we have our head storyteller, and his name is Jeff Caspry.
Okay.
When you meet him, you will know why. He's the storyteller. Everybody plays the part. Brian is the one with the experience, and I think I am the one that kind of charges everything up.
Okay,
You
I can see that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good combo.
But we all work together. We all come with different experiences and skills, and we just make it work and see if what we can do and how we can help change lives also.
That's cool, man. And I like how you're saying that, each of you has kind of like a role, but the role is played by your personality and who you are. And it sounds like it's like a mastermind. Somebody has a better skill set over here that is a little bit better than the other one, and it's good to combine those together because that's how you make an amazing mastermind. So, I mean, how long have you guys known each other for?
Let me see. I've been knowing Brian for a couple of years.
Okay.
Prior to COVID, we kind of went through some of the same networking groups.
Okay.
And then I met Jeff probably about 6 months ago at another networking event. And me and Jeff just kind of hit it off. And, of course, I knew Brian, and I've been trying to get Brian to, because Brian really was retired. So he'll tell you he was retired. Then he did some work for just a select few people as far as when it comes to investing and stuff. And I told him to, kind of charge it up a little bit, because Brian likes to give back a lot of information to the public. And so I just told him that, that's value added and he should really pursue that. So now he's kind of opening up the gambit more and passing on that information and willing to help other people learn how to invest in the stock market and also become a lender to different ventures, mainly real estate.
Nice. So, and I guess to the best of your knowledge, what should people look out for when they're brand new to investing?
When they're brand new to investing, I would say the main thing to look out for is the contracts. Not say everybody is out to get you, but the contract should be a living, breathing document. If you don't understand the contract, I would highly suggest you have an attorney look at it. It will save you so much time, effort, and grief. Because I'm telling you, these people who have been in the business for a long time, they know how to finagle the system, how to move around. And so not saying everybody does it, but worst case scenario, you should really understand, what you're getting yourself into. And I think the first part of that is the contract. Understand what you're willing to give up, what's your collateral, and then what are you responsible for, and then what can you lose in the process.
And what would you say, like, some of the common mistakes new investors make?
Not knowing the right numbers, feeling more with emotions versus logic. You know, just because you see good investment and you're emotionally to it, you still need to use logic. You know, be able to do the research, understand the demographics of where you're buying it or whatever you're doing, and basically just do the research. And then, as they say, as you know, always have your exit strategy. Always, you know, never try to feel like you are obligated to do the deal. You know, do the deal because it makes sense.
Yeah, I like that what you talked about, emotional investing, where people get really emotional attached to it. As soon as they see it plummet or go down or something like that, they get the cash out, and then they see it go up again. And they're beating themselves up. So
yes,
that's great. You know, great information that people need to know about when they're getting into investing.
Yes.
So like, you know, you said kind of like for people who are new to investing, you know, what are the common mistakes? But like for people that want to start investing, like what would you say would be like the first step towards getting started, you know, with that?
Well, it depends. If you're talking about, are we talking about real estate investing, or are we talking about investing in the market?
Actually, I mean, any whichever one. I mean, if you can talk about all of them, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, we're on the subject of investing in the stock market, so let's go there, and then let's pivot over to real estate investing.
I would say, and as most of the gurus say, you know, invest in what you use already. So look at the home products you use at home, or the products that you're passionate about, and then it gives you that much emphasis to try to learn more about it. You know, find out who is the parent company. And then, for instance, if you have Verizon Wireless, you should invest in Verizon Wireless and have them pay your cell phone bill.
That makes sense.
So you can actually create a passive income by just understanding what the stock market does and how it can benefit you. So I think that would be my first thing to do, is just do some research on it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard that before, but it makes sense because like all the stock that I own, pretty much that's the case. Like especially back when COVID first hit, I got snapped up on a whole bunch of American Airlines because I love using American